Good morning, everyone. I am Michael Whitehouse, the guy who knows a guy, and this is my weekly update. So, I want to tell you a story. And during the course of this story, you may say, Michael, you are promoting more things than you normally do in your weekly update. And yes, but it's all part of the story, so it all ties together. The story starts when I returned from Florida, having that first class energy. Remember when we were talking about that? I flew first class. It was pretty fun, pretty exciting. I got off that plane. I was like, all right, first class energy, baby. Only the next day to discover I had COVID energy, and COVID energy eclipsed first class energy. So that was a surprise. I discovered it was COVID because my wife took a test. See, I took a test, negative, because of course you get sick, you take a test. My wife took a test, also negative, but then she took a second test. And the second test, apparently she did better because she got a positive result instantly. So I said, well, let me take a test a second time because apparently the first time I took the test, I just kind of swabbed my nose. And the second time I took the test, I swabbed my nose. And that one got a quick positive result. I was feeling better at that point, but we had COVID in the house. My daughter did not get it, fortunately, because kids have less of the receptors, I think, that get the COVID. Anyway, but my wife very much did. For me, it was basically a bad cold. For her, it was a really, really bad cold, and she got some of the anosmia and some of the other stuff. We weren't able to travel for Christmas. And also, prior to Christmas, I learned the full condition of our debt situation, which was a little worse than I thought it was. Not catastrophically so, but something that needs to be addressed and requires an adjustment in plans. My plan had been to take Christmas, New Year's off because we need a break. So I took Christmas, New Year's off right after giving my wife COVID and discovering that we had debts to deal with and having some other frustrations. And so I proceeded to rest, and by rest I mean plunge into depression. So on Thursday of that week, I said, all right, this is dumb, just sitting around here. I need to do something. I'm going to do 3 things. I'm going to write down 3 things. I wrote down 3 things to do, and I did them. I was like, I feel good. I feel good. Now I'm going to go play more Fortnite. And on Friday, I wrote down 3 things, and I did them. And I said, So I've heard this 3 things concept. You do 3 things a day and 3 things a week and 3 things a month in order to get focus. So I thought, what if I did that 3 things a day? Let's do some math. See that on my board right here. This entire board, by the way, is the result of the story I'm telling you. But on the board here, see, there's 22 working days in a month. So if you do 3 things a day, that's 66. So if you do a quarter, that's 198 action items. And I thought to myself, if I could get 198 things done, that would probably solve a lot of my problems. I don't think I'm doing 198 things a quarter. So if I could get 198 things done, I think that would solve some of my problems. So I did it. I cleared out my schedule for that day and just worked on this here. I did not expect to leave this up, but then I realized it makes a really great background. It's under where my green screen was. And so I wrote at the top, each of the actions I was going to do, not actions, each of the projects I was going to do. So whether it's a summit or setting up the Facebook group for the entrepreneur mentor community or recording courses or whatever it was, it went there. And then under that was every single action I wanted to do. And I was thinking I have to prioritize because, there's a lot of things I want to do. And I then added them all up and realized I had about 113 actions for 198 slots. And I said, holy mackerel, I could have more. Good morning, Michelle. Holy mackerel, I could have more things. I'm not even full. I've got like a month left over in this quarter if I get everything done. Wow. And then I took all those items and I set them to dates. And a number of really cool things came out of this as I've been executing the system for a week. The first was, of course, I shared the picture of this wall on LinkedIn, and Facebook, and the comments were like, dude, you got to teach me how to do this. So I'm gonna. And let me just mention that right now. This Thursday, I'm gonna. So I'm doing the plan 3 months in 2 hours. 2 hours, maybe a little bit of marketing license. It might be more like 3 hours once I explain how to do everything. It took me 2 hours because I had the system in my head already. But Might be 3, so a little more time. But yeah, for $97, you will leave that event with a plan in place. And everything I'm going to mention to you, by the way, you can find at megaconnector.com. So at that site is links to everything. So I don't give you 30 different links. I give you one link. Everything goes from there. No, it took me 3 years to figure that one out. But yeah, so that was one of the things that came out of it. But some of the other benefits that came out of it is I'd always been hesitant to plan a quarter because that's rigid, right? That's a solid plan. But surprise, surprise, it gives flexibility. Why? Because when I want to add something in, when, for example, after creating the plan, a bunch of people said, please teach us how to do this. Well, now I've got to plan a workshop. I've got to create the landing page and the sales page and some copy to explain it and events and promote and blah, 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 blah. Well, normally, historically, to do that, I would put them in, push things, kind of like if you have a crowded desk and you push things to make room and things fall off the back. What fell off the back? I don't know. It's behind the desk now. Now, when I push things, I know what I'm pushing because I can look at my spreadsheet of all the actions that need to be done and consciously have to change dates or choose I'm going to like work till 11 o'clock tonight. But normally I consciously change the date so I can move that. The other thing that I found almost immediately was peace of mind. I get up in the morning and I know what I'm doing that day. Boom. Got it. At the end of the day, I know if I'm done. So at the end of the day, I can say, okay, it's 5 o'clock. I'm tired. I know I did a bunch of things and talked to a bunch of people, but am I done? Well, let me check the 3 things that need to get done today to get the most important things done. And if I've done those, day's over. Pack it in. And if I haven't done them, either keep working, get those done, or put a new date on them so they get done. But it, again, gives that visibility and peace of mind and just awareness. Even if every day in a week I'm like, didn't get it done, didn't get done, at least I know that and can adjust, as opposed to, I don't know if I've gotten things done. So this has been life-changing for me, and I think you might benefit from it as well. But I've really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that was intended to be a story. It just happens the end of that story is I've got a program because people asked me to do it, not because I said, I'm going to teach this. But, sometimes you figure something out and people want it. So what else do I have coming up? You may want to know. Tonight is the Entrepreneur Launch Party. There's a 90-minute event. It's the most well-received, most successful part of the Entrepreneur Mentor community so far. You come to the Entrepreneur Launch Party. If you are a guest, if you've never been to one, you can come for free. If you're an EMC member, you can come as many times as you want. You should come every month, actually. And if you're a mentor, of course, you can come every month. So there's 3 parts of it. The first part is we celebrate our successes and celebrate our wins, which is super fun. The second part is hot seat coaching. So you bring your biggest challenge in front of the mentors. The mentors are going to bring you some great solutions, great ideas, points in the right direction. You might end up in calls with them afterwards and getting some good guidance. And then we do networking afterwards because it wouldn't be a Michael Whitehouse event if we weren't doing some kind of networking. So got to be doing that. And then coming up on the 23rd to 27th of January, for years, people have been asking me, hey, Michael, how can I be as confident as you on camera? And for the longest time, I didn't have an answer because I didn't know how I did it. And I finally said, I should figure out how I did it. Partly because I went back and listened to some old videos. I watched YouTube videos from 2008 that I did, and then even some from 2018. And I could see a distinct pattern of improvement over time. And then I realized there's certain exercises I did and feedback and practice that now I know what it is, having studied it, becoming conscious competent instead of unconscious competent. And I have set it up so I can replicate that onto you. So we're doing a free 5-day challenge, January 23rd to 27th. And you're going to learn everything. I was just looking at my calendar to make sure that was in fact 5 days because my math brain isn't working today. You are going to learn all the techniques that you can do it on your own if you're focused and disciplined enough to do that. And then I'm going to be offering a Camera Confidence Club if you would like support from me and the community to make sure you actually do the work and then to help you make the progress that you want to make. Also, EntrepreNERD episode 6, The Return of the Summit, is February 13th. And that's going to be super fun. We got our speakers lined up, so you can find that linked from, yes, you can. I was just looking over my website. Yeah, if you go to megaconnector.com, there's a link that says summits. It has all my upcoming summits on it, at least the ones that are formally planned, not just the ones that are on the board. And speaking of all these summits on the board, I have come to realize that the summit process that I created to be simple and fun is also effective. It generates pretty decent results and is relatively administratively light to run. So a lot of people who organize summits, they charge $5, $10, $15, $20,000 to run virtual summits. And my summits generate comparable results. I mean, I will not promise you I'll give you the same results you get for a $10,000 program. But I think I can give you comparable results. And I have discovered, I did the math out and figured out that I could run a summit done for you for $2,000. And when I say done for you, I did one of those $10,000 summit programs, and it required me to do 30 hours of work. 30 hours. Much of which was planning meetings, meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. I was basically doing all the work, and then the provider was taking some of that work and putting it into some systems and whatnot. I do a complete done for you summit. Done for you. We're going to have one meeting. I'm going to get an idea of what the brand and concept, target audience, what kind of speakers we should bring in. Once I've gotten that information downloaded to me, then I and my team will run your summit. The next thing you need to do is show up at the event to be the host. I'll be the MC, so I'll be carrying the energy. I'll maintain the flow. You just have to show up and look good and sound smart. And if you have an offer that you want to make to monetize, then do that as well. If you would like to set up more monetization to plug into it, you can certainly do that. But you can get the full promised value by simply going to one meeting and then showing up at the end. And that's it. Done for you, not done with you. So much less money, much less time, pretty good results. If you're interested in learning more about that, then you can go to megaconnector.com, click the big blue and red button that says Summit Production, and that'll give you the details of the program as well as how to book a call if you want to book a call before we start doing that. So that's what I've got going on. A lot of stuff going on coming into January, which I can now handle because I have an actual plan and system and structure to follow, which is pretty exciting. So things are going good. Having this plan, like this thing behind me, has been absolutely life-changing, and I think will be business-changing, which will be life-changing. Having that structure, I cannot overemphasize the freedom that comes in structure. It is amazing. So that's my updates for the week. I hope you found it interesting and enjoyed listening to me. And if you didn't, well, you probably didn't get this far into the video. I think I'm going to stop putting these onto my podcast feed because I don't think people are listening to my podcast feed for updates, and it's a bunch of work. So I'm not going to do it. But if you were listening on the podcast feed and were like, hey, that was convenient, let me know. But otherwise, I'm not going to be doing it anymore. So there we go. Of course, you can always reach me at, megaconnector.com. There's a contact button there. It's all there, all in one place. This is one of the things I did learn down in Florida, was make one place with everything on it and route out from there instead of having to, this email address and that email, that website. You go to megaconnector.com 6 months from now, it's still going to have buttons for everything going on, all in one place. He's slow, but he gets it. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful week, and you know where to find me. It's in the comments. You can contact me in the comments in case you don't know where to find me. Comments or on the contact page. Have a great week.